Before anyone says a word, yes, I know this hat is extra, but I bought it for the 8123 Fest, which I think would have been this week, because if it wasn't for COVID, I would be in California or like running around in the desert somewhere. In honor of me not being in the desert right now, let me wear the hat. Hi friends, so today I have another vinyl related video coming your way. It is kind of last minute. I had a New Year's resolutions video coming to you guys, but I was kind of mumbling. It was kind of just like, I don't know. I might upload it anyway. It's just like an extra video this week, but I felt like I should sit down with you guys and actually do a real video, one that's more so related to my channel. A lot of you guys really enjoyed looking at my vinyl record collection, and I got a lot of nice comments, so thank you so much if you said anything nice at all, because I worked really hard on that. So today I want to do two things. I want to talk about my new outlook on collecting records, buying records, all that jazz, and I want to show you guys my top 10 most listened to albums. This is me gauging from just the last 2 years, I'd say, because I would say when I was in my like really big pop punk phase, which I still am to an extent, those were my most listened to, but I'd say in the last 2 years, there's ones I definitely go to grab for way more. So I'm gonna first talk about some of the changes in my collecting kind of taste, and I don't know if that makes sense, but changes in my mentality towards collecting vinyl. So I'd say back when I started collecting vinyl, and just probably 2015 through 2017, 2018, my mentality with collecting vinyl was I just felt like I wanted to have every album I could by every band I loved. And I feel like that's probably relatable for some people. I'm still like that with certain bands and artists like Taylor Swift and The Maine. Of course, I want all their albums on vinyl, but I feel I was a collector that wanted multiple presses of one album. The old version, the anniversary version. If there was a band that I liked and I only liked, say, half of the record, but I liked the band, I would still want to buy that vinyl, because to me it was collecting. I was collecting all these albums. It was valuable to me. It was just a thing to me. It was almost like kind of I wanted everything to be complete. Like I wanted the discography of everyone. I wanted like a complete record collection. And I would say that has totally changed in terms of how I look at my collection, how I go about buying records, what makes me want to buy a record, and so on and so on. As you guys may have already seen, and if you haven't, this is me telling you right now, I listed a bunch of my vinyl that I'm looking to sell on my Depop page. I will link that below. I also will be uploading band merch there that I don't want anymore. Pokemon cards, please buy them. I will negotiate. I don't want them anymore. Some of those albums were like a little hard for me to get rid of, but I was really coming to the conclusion that some of those albums and vinyl I just never listened to. They just sat around and took up space, and I don't know, I was just ready to let go of them and ready to have new records in my collection. And while I was going through them, I was really kind of thinking the things that were holding me back from getting rid of them was maybe that was a completed set I had of a certain amount of presses or a certain band's discography. Or maybe it was the anniversary edition and I had the original and I wanted to keep both. And there is nothing wrong with having all versions. I know plenty of vinyl collectors out there do that, and that's a very I would say common way of collecting vinyl, especially by the press, the number. Pretty much, I would say the way I have changed is that I'm more willing to not be so particular about having a complete set of anything. And this may not run as a surprise to you guys. Like maybe this is common sense to you and you're just like, yeah, just buy what you want. Like who cares? Because I've always also been by that mentality. But I felt almost an obligation as being a vinyl collector that I should have went for having complete sets. Now that's not how I look at it at all. Now I'm pretty much keeping vinyl that I listen to. There's plenty of albums I have that I'm kind of thinking of selling, of albums I love but I never listen to. And for me, vinyl is such an experience that there's certain albums that I really, really enjoy that experience with over others, just as anyone else would listening to any piece of music. I have so many old like Knuckle Puck and Real Friends albums that I still love those bands and I still go back to them sometimes, but I don't find myself listening to the records. And as I was selling them and listing them and getting rid of them, part of me kind of hurt because I was like, this was such a time in my life. This was such a specific thing that I was into, but I really need to make room for more. And I just think for me, it's counterproductive to have tons of albums sitting on a shelf that I don't even listen to. So I guess my reason for talking about this is that if you are a vinyl collector, or you want to get into collecting vinyl, personally 5-6 years down the road now of me being a collector of vinyl, I just find that's not, for me, it's more important to have what I enjoy and what I listen to and what I value, whether or not I spin it a lot, over having complete sets. As I buy more vinyl and share with you guys, I probably won't be having as much or as many complete sets as I once did, which honestly, compared to a lot of people, I still didn't even have complete sets or complete discographies. Bottom line, I'm at a point where for me, it's not quantity, it's quality. It's what I have in my collection, what I listen to. And like I said, I'm kind of sad to be letting go of some of these albums. I'm so happy you guys are buying them. If you've bought some, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm putting this money towards a camera so I can vlog with you guys, not on my phone. And I'm so close to my camera goal, thanks to you guys for buying random stuff like Pokemon cards and stuff. So that camera will be here soon, thank God. And I just wanted to share that with you guys, that as someone who has collected vinyl for 5-6 years, I'm kind of just coming to a place where, you know, I just want to have albums that I listen to a lot and that I spin a lot, because there's albums I love and I just find myself not listening to the vinyl. Like, That's the Spirit by Bring Me the Horizon is a great example. I love that album. I loved it when it came out. I still love it. I just don't find myself spinning that record. As my videos continue and as I share vinyl tips and vinyl collection updates and things with you guys, you might notice a change in that. As you will see from what I'm about to show you, these are the top 10, I would say, most spun albums in my collection. And looking at them, it was something I didn't expect, but I know these are the ones I reach for the most. This is in no particular order. This isn't like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and then 1 being the most played. This is just ones I've collected that I feel I grab a lot and I put on when I'm just doing my thing. The first record that I find I play a lot is Amy Winehouse's Back to Black. This is a classic, as we know. And I actually just bought this album at the beginning of the summer, 2020. So it wasn't that long ago that I actually added this to my collection. I went to a local record store, I sold some of my old vinyl, and I got a store credit, and I saw this and I was like, why don't I have this in my collection? I also had an Amy Winehouse phase this summer for whatever reason. But ever since I bought this, I find myself really grabbing for it. It's just, she's a legend, she's an icon. So I think it goes to show that if someone's music can be listened to casually or listened to jamming around your room and like putting on a whole concert, which is what I do to her, it's a really, really good quality album, in my opinion. So that's definitely one I reach for a lot since I've bought it, a lot. The next album that I find that I reach for so much is Bring Me Your Love by City and Colour. This album has been part of my collection for years. I bought this album probably within the first 2 years of me starting to collect because I'm obsessed with City and Colour. I think he's amazing. This is my only City and Colour vinyl that I own, and I totally want to build up that collection, but this album has always been my favorite. And the reason I added this one is because I listen to it all the time, I feel. Like when I don't know what else to put on and I see this one, I'm like, this is relaxing, this is calm, this is good. It was one I was kind of surprised to throw in the mix, but I really do find myself reaching for it a lot. And if you haven't listened to City and Colour or this album, just go do it right now. Like, X out of this video and go do it right now. Okay, the third most listened to album, in my opinion, is probably, I would say, the most played of all my vinyl. So I maybe should have saved it for last, but I'm just estimating, and it is Peripheral Vision by Turnover. This album is amazing. I don't need to go on about it. I think anyone who likes Turnover or is in the pop punk kind of alternative scene knows this album and knows how great it is. I've had this record for years. I probably bought this the year it came out, I probably bought it. When did this come out? It's not my favorite looking vinyl, but this album is so insane. But like, I listen to it so much, I almost want to get a second copy. That is my vinyl collector 2016 Sophie crawling in, being like, you love this album, get another pressing. No, I don't need another pressing. This one works just fine. It's such a timeless listen. I never get sick of this record. It's so good. The next most played album, I'm actually gonna combine two because I feel like I just listened to these two so much. And they're both Fleetwood Mac. One is Greatest Hits and one is self-titled. And I feel like I kind of switch between the two of these. They actually have some of the same songs like on each other because the Greatest Hits is obviously Greatest Hits. But I kind of feel like I switch between the two because there's a lot of songs on self-titled that aren't on Greatest Hits and vice versa that I'm a big fan of. So I'm kind of just combining these as one. These were both handed down to me. All my Fleetwood Mac records were given to me by my dad. Always liked Fleetwood Mac. Back when I used to take guitar lessons when I was younger, I was probably 13 years old. My guitar teacher taught me Landslide. Both of these albums count as one. I reach for these a lot. I actually was just listening to Fleetwood Mac, as you can see. Tango in the Night, another good one, but these two I reach for way more. Next album I'm going to share with you guys is actually just a compilation, and it is Less Noise by The Maine. It is a collection of songs by a band called The Maine. If you didn't know what this was, it is pretty much a collection of, I think they did 2 songs from all of their albums up to Lovely Little Lonely and made them acoustic and very calm. And I thought this was such a good idea. I'm so glad they did this because, don't get me wrong, I do spin The Maine records. They're still my favorite band ever, but I really liked this. I've come to find that I'm so much more into vinyl as just a soft listening experience than anything too much. I just like putting on a quiet record, sitting, doing my work, doing what I gotta do, doing my nails, and I just enjoy vinyl that way the most. So when they released this and pressed it on vinyl, I was really stoked. I definitely spin this record more than any of my other The Maine records at this rate. So big fan of this one. I don't know if it's still available, but if it is and you love The Maine and you don't have it, I highly recommend it. I just listened to it so much. I'm shocked how much I listened to it. When I ordered this, it was like more of an addition to my collection, and I listened to it more than probably, any of my other The Maine albums on vinyl. My next most listened to album is one that was a gift from one of my best friends, Gianna. So if you're watching this, which you're probably not, but if you are, thank you so much for gifting this to me. She was getting rid of albums and she gave me this as a birthday present. Is Third Eye Blind, self-titled. I don't need to continue. This is probably one of my favorite albums of all time. Just so timeless. Like, this is one of those albums that when any song comes on shuffle, I don't skip. It also reminds me of like nice times, so it's like a nostalgia thing. But yeah, this one I reach for a lot, like an unhealthy amount, a lot. The next album on this list is the one and only, the masterpiece, Red by Miss Taylor Swift. And this is no shocker. Like, this is no shocker. I reach for my Taylor albums so much, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't reach for this one the most. Do I need to go on? I feel like I'm saying this about all these albums, like as if you know they're amazing, which probably most of you do because you guys have taste, period. I don't know what else to say other than like this album, out of all my Taylor albums that I have on vinyl, which is her whole discography except Evermore at this point, this one is just the most enjoyable for me on vinyl. My favorite Taylor album is Speak Now, but Red has probably my favorite Taylor songs of all time. Like State of Grace is probably one of my favorite Taylor songs of all time. It has to be in my top 2. Yeah, like my favorite is Long Live. State of Grace is probably second. And then Holy Ground, like she really went off with this one. Next album that I grabbed for a lot is Norman effing Rockwell by Lana Del Rey. I don't want to curse in my videos because I don't want to have like an issue with YouTube. I don't know if kids watch this, but Norman effing Rockwell. This album, I don't know if it's my favorite Lana album, but it is so nice on vinyl. Like, my friend Jack, shout out to you if you're watching this, sis. Like, seriously, he got me this special like Urban Outfitters version for my birthday. It's a beautiful hot pink color. It's just amazing. Is like, just thank you, Jack. I listen to this so much. Not to mention I listen to this album in general so much when I'm driving and stuff. So it's just an easy listen. I feel like the reason I've chosen all of these albums is because they're just easy listens. Like, I don't get sick of them and they kind of go with any mood I'm in. This one's golden. Speaking of which, I think Chemtrails Over the Country Club is coming out soon. Bless. My next album that I chose was Phoebe Bridgers, Stranger in the Alps. Another easy, quiet, relaxing listen for me. I don't even know what else to say. This album's amazing, and I know a lot of people would agree with that, but I reach for this one a lot too because it's just soft and it's easy and it's not distracting and it's just nice, but it's also sad. And I also end up crying. Yeah. Last but not least was kind of a surprise to me, but when I was going through all of my albums, I was between 2 to pick for this one. It was either this one or I was gonna pick the Seawolf album that I've been like screaming about, mainly just because that is new, but it's like all I've been listening to. This one is After Laughter by Paramore. I was shocked that this was in this bunch too. Not that this album isn't amazing. I mean, Paramore are one of my all-time favorite bands. I love them so much. But I noticed I really pull this one out a lot, more than Brand New Eyes. And Brand New Eyes is my favorite Paramore album, but something about this album just hits. Like, this is just a bop and a half, but like, you can also cry in bed if you want to it. So I really don't know. When I was going through my albums, I was thinking, this is one I really, really reach for a lot. Paramore are insane, and I miss them, and I've still never seen them live, and I really hope they tour again. I don't care what it costs, I'm showing up. But After Laughter by Paramore, I miss them. Like truly one of my favorite bands of all time. I'm getting emotional because they're just important. They're just special to me, and I miss them. And yeah. So guys, that's all I have for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I haven't made a video like this before, like with this specific topic, so I thought it would be new and different. I kind of want to recreate some of my old videos, updated versions of them, so let me know what you think about that. And you know, in the meantime, I'm just going to be trying to come up with other things. I want to start vlogging more, but I always feel awkward when I vlog. But like, tell me if you want to see vlogs, or if you do like these sit-down videos better. Let me know some of your guys' most Spun albums. I mean, like, these were really random, some of them for me, but I truly picked them a lot. So let me know what you guys listen to the most, regardless of if your favorite band or artist is included. I would love to know. And that's pretty much all I got. I might post that New Year's resolutions vlog later this week. If you guys want to see it, let me know. And I will talk to you guys very soon. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications if you want. I sound like a weird vlogger, but yeah, I will talk to you guys very soon. Hope you enjoyed the video. Bye.